Welcome back to the desk. The race for the NJAC is heating up, and here to digest all things Pioneer basketball, we have Jimmy, Andrew, and Anthony. Season's almost coming down to an end, gentlemen. Anthony, we'll start with you. They had a tough home loss against Montclair State last Wednesday, but they bounced back over the weekend versus Stockton. Anthony, what did you see from both of those games?
Yeah, Samory, we're going to do something a little bit unorthodox. We're actually going to look at the stats from both of those games. If we actually take a look at the graphic right here, you see what they did against Montclair State. Only 52 points compared to 60 against Montclair State. Shot the ball a lot better from the field against Stockton. Out-rebounded what they did against Montclair State. Less turnovers and less points in the paint. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's all good when you're shooting the ball that well. It really doesn't matter how many points in the paint you get. But they get a nice win against Stockton. Now they move on. Nice bounce-back win. They played good against Montclair State. They just couldn't pull it out at the end, and we'll see where they go from here.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, that Montclair State game was a tough one. That was 3 losses in a row. Good bounce-back game against Stockton on Saturday. They have a really big game against Rutgers Camden coming up. Big 3 games coming up. I think they're going to make a push, though, in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're all hoping for that on the desk. Something that I saw from the game is just how close it was. Pioneers, we out-rebounded them. We outshot them from the field as well. So it was just really interesting. We lost to Montclair by 2 points. So crucial things happened towards the end of that game, but Justita Cabezas had a double-double, 18 and 10, and she came back the next game at Stockton, had 21, so it was very impressive. Yeah. But Jimmy, what did you see from the 2 games?
Well, what I saw first off Montclair State, you just alluded to it some more. Only a 2-point loss. Pioneers shot only three 3-point shots in that entire game. They can open up the perimeter shooting. That'll make jobs for Brianna Brooks, Justina Cabezas a lot easier. Brianna Brooks just came back, by the way. That's going to shoot some life into the team. And then the Stockton victory made over 80% of their free throws. You do that, that's going to lead to a lot of victories.
Danny Llanos is not here, but he would definitely say that the easy buckets are the ones that we like because they're free points. They give it to you. And also with Brianna Brooks coming back, that's going to be big for the women's team coming down to the wire in the NJAC playoff push, and she's going to be back for the playoffs as well, as every team makes it. Now, there's a lot of contributions that we've gotten from this women's team this year, but something that, we weren't looking forward to because we didn't really much know her before the season started. Victoria Palladino's playing very well this season, and Andrew, can you take us through how she's playing this year?
Yeah, Palladino's been doing it all this year. I mean, we'll take a look at her stats right now. So as a freshman, averaging 6 points a game, she has 54 assists, 30 steals on the season. Shooting 35% from the field in 30 minutes a game. Just had her best game of the season, probably against Stockton, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. She's been a key piece to this team on defense, and she's going to be phenomenal if she keeps progressing.
Yeah, Andrew alluded to her earlier. 54 assists, that leads the team. That's why I start calling her Palladine now, because she's dropping dimes all game long. And she's playing over 30 minutes as a freshman, which is very tough to do, especially on a offense coached by Coach Monahan, who really wants to get the most out of her players. She plays tough defense, gritty defense. She's physical. She can drive to the basket. She can shoot a little bit. She can do it all.
And just taking a point from you two, we're all part of Brave New Radio. We've called games just being on the floor there, just seeing how she moves, how she gets from one spot to another, how active her feet are, just how active her hands are too. She gets a lot of steals. We saw that as well. But, we love to see that. She's a freshman, and that just shows what's going to be next for the future for the Pioneers. But, Jimmy, your thoughts on her?
Well, me and Anthony were on the call for the Kane game a month ago, and the Pioneers hosted them. Shannon McCoy on Kane is a top 4 scorer in the NJAC. Victoria Palladino took on the challenge of guarding her, locked her up, kept it close in that game. The tenacity she plays on defense, the confidence Coach Monahan has in her, it says it all as a freshman. She's only going to get better. Yeah,
and she's probably going to start the playoff game. We're going to have to see what happens from now and then. But it's going to be interesting to see what she does in that game. It's going to definitely be nerves. But we saw this happen before. We saw this with Yakira Rosa when she was a freshman, and we're probably going to continue to see this as well. But jumping courts, the men's are just hovering. They're hovering around 500. I believe they are now 10 and 10 on the season. Overall in the NJAC, I believe they're 7 and 8. So I'll just start off with a player who I think needs to step up a little bit, so to put them just over the hump. And I'll take a player by the name of Jaden Cepeda. Jaden Cepeda, to me, he's like, you said this before, and I'm going to take it from him. He's the energizer bunny on this team. He does everything. I've seen him dive into stands before. If you look at the season, he's averaging just a little bit under 10 points a game. He's shooting almost 43% from the field. He has 35 steals, close to 60 assists, and he's doing it in 24 minutes. So he's not playing that much, but when he is on the court, he is very effective. Jimmy?
Well, I'm going to take it over to the sniper, the sharpshooter, Nick Rodriguez. He's 3rd in the NJAC in 3-point percentage and in threes made per game. Look at stats this season, 12 points per game, 41% field goal percentage. I like to see him get to the free throw line more, 78% essentially on the season. And he throws in a few steals and 3 rebounds per game. When he gets going, the Pioneers are rolling. Get this stat. The team is 5-2 when he scores 16 points or more.
It's a great stat, Jimmy, there. Andrew, who you have?
I got to go Evensman Fleury. I mean, he's my guy, but he's not playing like himself at all right now. Last year, he was all NJAC first team. He led the NJAC in rebounding and field goal percentage. He's only played 8 games this season. He's not playing like himself. These next 3 games are really big for him. He's got to get on track. I hope the Haitian sensation can get it going before the playoffs.
Anthony, close us out.
I love that answer.
I did too. I can't even lie to you.
I didn't credit Nicky Rod.
I got to go with Brian Monahan. You know, we didn't know about Brian Monahan coming this year. He just came over from, I think, the University of Scranton, and he's killing this year. 12 points per game. He can shoot a little bit. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. He has a really good basketball IQ. He cuts the basket. He's one of the top assist getters on the team with 44. He has 24 steals. He can cut to the basket, pass it, shoot it, rebound. He's a full 5-tool player.
Yeah, and I remember the first game of the season, he's getting the crowd riled up. I believe he had 5 3-pointers in that game. So, like Jimmy said here, and you said those 2, if they're hot, I think that's going to make magic for the William Paterson team. It's going to be trouble for the rest of the NJAC. So tomorrow we have another game for the Pioneers. We'll be hosting Rutgers Camden. It's going to be a fun one. We kind of need this victory. We need this victory so I think we could go on a streak to start the NJAC playoffs. But Jimmy, what do you expect from this game tomorrow?
Well, we're going to take a look at the stats here on how William Paterson fares against Rutgers Camden. In a game that William Paterson needs to win, this is certainly one that's gettable. You see the 1-17 record for Rutgers Camden compared to the 500 10-10. William Paterson doing all right in the NJAC, doing a lot better in the points per game category. 20 points more, 43%. You know, Ballisteri alluded to here. If Evensman Fleury wants to get right, I want to see him play as a big. I want to see him stay down low, post up on the block, pick and roll with Dom Mignon, you know, stay out of foul trouble, reduce the charges. If he can do that and embrace his role as a big, he'll be back to his form.
Something I've seen from the men's team, gentlemen, is they are a second-half team. When they played NJCU, they were down 10+ in the first half, and they came back and riled them in the second half. I think you can't jump off to a slow start in the first half because we saw the stats there. Rutgers Camden, not that good of a team. They only have 1 victory, but don't underestimate the opponent. I think if William Paterson, if they get it started in the first quarter, I think we're going to see a lot of guys off the bench get in the game because I think it will be a blowout. But Andrew, what do you see from this game?
Yeah, I agree. This is a must-win game, and they absolutely can't play down to these opponents. And I agree with what Jimmy said. This is the game for Evensman Fleury to start going off. This is where he gets right. He's playing a bad team at 1-17, and you know you're in a must-win game. If Evans can get it going, Willie P's going to win.
Anthony, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I want to look at with this team, and somewhere you kind of took the words out of my mouth, you cannot take this game lightly. You need to win this game. You need to treat these guys like they are a very tough competitor. But something I have to keep an eye on. Rutgers Camden is only shooting around 63% from the free throw line. If you can get them to the line, make them make their free throws, it should lead to success. Don't give up the easy basket. Get them to the line.
Well, we hope for both the women's and men's team tomorrow as they face off against Rutgers Camden. But that's all for the hoops here on campus. But don't go anywhere as we'll throw an outlet pass to Najee and the rest of the NBA crew as they break down the all-star starters only here on WP Sports Desk.